I'd like to share with you the neighborhood I grew up in. Very cool neighborhood. Little row homes, about 70 to each side. The part of Northeast Philadelphia we grew up in was called Oxford Circle. It was around Tyson and Bustleton. Everybody in the neighborhood just moved there 2-3 years before. The houses, I remember my father told me he paid for the house like $4,500 in 1952, and which was a lot of money back then. But back in the day, as we grew up, we had a lot of very basic fundamentals. If you disrespected your teachers, the law, or your parents, you got whacked. But the neighborhood was very close. We played ball outside. It was predominantly Italian Catholic, Jewish, some Irish Catholic, and some Armenian Catholic. And we all got along great. It was a great neighborhood. It was like one big family. The meeting of Al Clayman and Harry Blackstein was one of the funniest moments of my life. By the way, Al Clayman was Howard's grandfather. And I will tell you this, that Howard is the most like his grandfather. I was 8 years old. It's probably July. My father said to me, Mark, there's a truck coming down the driveway in 10 minutes to deliver some pizza shells, sauce, and cheese. I need your help unloading the truck and into my car, because my father was in the food business. So down the driveway comes this giant old truck with 2 people in it, who I found it was Al Clayman and his middle son, Larry Clayman. So Al gets out and Larry gets out, and my father, we're starting to unload the truck, and I met Larry, we shook hands. I met Al, we shook hands. And right away, I knew that Al was going to be a lifelong friend to me, and Larry was going to be a lifelong friend. So after the truck was loaded, Al says, Harry, it's X amount of dollars and X amount of cents. My father said, I'll pay it tomorrow. He says, Harry, you got to pay on time. Al, your prices are too high. Al, I'm not paying you these high prices. You're a thief. Harry, you don't pay on time, so I got to charge you higher prices. This went on for an hour, and Larry and I are looking at each other like, oh my God, what's going on with these guys? They're crazy. And they yelled and screamed and yelled and screamed, and Larry and I were backing away a little bit because we're afraid, what's going to be next. They're going to start fist fighting. So after about an hour of them yelling and Larry and I talking, Al and my father hugged and went out to dinner. That started the friendship. I met Howard when he was born. As Howard grew older, we became closer. I knew that I had a special bond with Howard. He's a good boy. Since Howard's a little boy, he always worked in the food business. He would help his grandfather at the warehouse when he was a little kid. Later, he went to work. He worked at a couple restaurants. He was always working, always in the food business. And quite honestly, Howard had the knack for the business that most people don't have. He had a good feel for the products, for the customers, what needed to be done, and he's a very smart kid. Al and Howard had a very special relationship. Al was not only his grandfather, but his mentor. Howard had a great work ethic from the beginning. He loved to work. He loved to work in the food business. That was in his blood. Literally, I believe that some people are born into a certain profession, and he was. And he worked very, very hard all his life. Nothing was given to him. He didn't grow up with a lot of money. They didn't have much money. He didn't grow up in a big fancy house. He lived in just a regular house, and he had to work for everything he had. When he started this business a little over 10 years ago, I sat down with him on certain things, and I told him what I thought. He said, what do you think? And I think you're going to be wildly successful. And his biggest problem was he kept growing out of each building he was in. And within 6 months, he was out. He was busting at the seams because he was smart enough to put together the right team of people to help grow the business. And he did. And people liked being around him. Howard was never one to judge someone because of color, race, religion, creed, or the money in their pocket. Howard's a very basic guy. He judges people on what's in their heart. And he gets to know people pretty quick. He's got a pretty good intuitive skill to know people and what makes them tick. And that's why Howard has all different types of people working with him, for him, and he does business with all types of people. The reason he's become an industry leader is because he's ahead of the curve. He's always ahead of the curve, and he knows what to look for. And the business has been in his blood, I think, since birth.